Join me today as we talk a little bit about the potential future of Lego Castle. This is the Geek Ball channel. My name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the potential future of Lego Castle. And if Lego is going to take recent events as a sign that they should remake Lego Castle, reintroduce to retail. Now, a few months ago, I did a video talking about if Lego would reintroduce Castle to retail, like what that would look like, kind of things people would expect to see, things like that. And now we're in a situation where I would argue it would be in Lego's best interest to do so. And I've seen a counter argument, and I want to address it. But what we have right now is today, as I'm recording this, earlier today, the Bricklink, I think it's Bricklink Designer program, the pre-orders went live for, I think this is round 4, maybe? And the 2 castle sets are already sold out. And the way it works is Lego puts these up for pre-order. If they hit a certain number of pre-orders, they'll actually be made. But they only take a certain number of pre-orders also. And they're both sold out. They were sold out within like 6 hours. So the other sets were not. I don't know if the other sets have sold out at this point. I'm not interested in them, honestly. So you have that. Then you have the immense popularity of the Lego 3-in-1 Creator Castle. A simple search on YouTube will show you all kinds of alternate builds people have made for that, as well as on, I think it's Rebrickable. People seem to really like the $400 Lion Knight Castle. And in the current wave of collectible minifigures, the Wolfpack figure is insanely hard to get a hold of and worth quite a bit on the secondary market. So, clearly there's a market for castle stuff. In fact, there's a new 3-in-1 castle coming out later this year, which you haven't seen pictures of. So I'm sure as I'm editing this, pictures will show up and I'll feel silly, but if they do, I'll put them here or here or somewhere. But my overarching point here is, clearly there's a market for Lego Castle. And a lot of people like to see it return to retail, not just big high-end exclusives and the big Bricklink sets. You know, like, let's see the $10 and $20 and $30 sets, you know, the battle packs, the single siege engines, the wagons and horses, the small little fortresses that maybe you get a couple of them together and have a bigger castle, you know, the bigger castle at the other end. And presumably some mix of old factions and new factions. You know, the old factions are great for the nostalgia, but we do need some new stuff too. So, you know, where is it? You know, like, the other castle sets in the previous Bricklink series also sold out. You know, we have more of them coming up that will probably sell out very quickly. The 3-in-1 Creator Castle keeps having its life extended. I don't know how many years it's been out at this point. In fact, Amazon just got a whole bunch more than the other day when the set's supposed to be retired already. I've got 2 of them. Haven't put them together yet, though. That'll probably be a video. Maybe. That's a really big set. There'll definitely have to be some sped up footage in that one. So, like I said, my overarching point here, though, is it's clear that there's an appetite for Castle. Now, the counter argument I hear basically goes like this. Well, number one, Lego's selling all these out, and they're not increasing the number that can be sold, so maybe they don't think there's a market. Alternatively, there are Lord of the Rings sets which are all high-end, ridiculous dollar amount sets, and only one of them so far has been a castle as far as the newer sets, because Rivendell is not a castle. The upcoming one for the Shire is not a castle. Barad-dûr is a castle. So I don't really know if that really fulfills that gap, you know, like fantasy castle-y stuff as far as figures and everything, okay, maybe. But like an actual castle, not really. And then they'll say, well, what about the Harry Potter line? Okay, there are some parts for the school for Hogwarts, which is a castle, but it's all Harry Potter castle. And then there's all the not castle sets. So, I mean, I get it. You know, you can build a big castle if you get all the stuff and put it together. You know, as long as you started a couple of years ago. Then, I don't remember what other thing they bring up. But the overarching point here is those are licensed set. Oh, it's the Dungeons and Dragons, which has one set and some collectible minifigures. So again, all these things could probably help supplement castle stuff, but none of these is a straight replacement. This isn't like, say, space and Star Wars, where Star Wars is sci-fi that takes place in space with spaceships and guys and like that. So yeah, it kind of is like Lego Space. So, you know, this is different. So anyway, I believe that there's clear evidence that there is a market. I would say maybe they should test the waters, but I guess to me the big problem with that is if you do that, it's going to look timid. There's not going to be the range people want, and so they're not going to buy into it. Because, like, say it's, I don't know, say there's like a $100 castle, and but then like drops down to like $40 or so for a coach or a wagon and some ambushers and stuff, and then like a $10 battle pack and a poly bag and maybe a $20 like little ruined tower chunk of wall thing, you know, that's not a wave. That doesn't fill anything, doesn't fulfill anything, and people are just gonna be like, really? This is what you're going with? No, it would need to be like the hundred some odd dollar castle for one of the, presumably there's two factions, for one of the two factions. Then probably the mid-size like $50-$60 set would be a smaller fortress for the other faction. And then again, like siege weapons, battle packs, carriages, maybe some little ruined wall segment like I mentioned, but they can attach to one of the two other buildings or something. And then if it works, in the next year you flip who has what. You know, you give the other side the big castle, and the other side the mid-range one, and you know, you go from there. And I would implore them to look back to the 80s when they were modular and could connect to each other, so that you have increased playability, you have increased incentive to get multiple sets, and so on. But, you know, like I said, watch my other video if you want more in-depth on that. Like I said, this is mainly, I think Lego needs to take notice and bring back Castle. Probably dial back the fantasy elements. Like, they can be there. You know, you can have, like, one of the factions can be elves, I guess. Where there can be some elves in some of the sets, with a promise of more of them down the road if that seems to work. Because, yeah, I mean, the one Castle series had dwarves, and we were supposed to get elves eventually, and those seem to sell pretty well. So I think fantasy can work if you do it right, but I think you gotta establish, maybe you gotta establish the other first, and then dip your toe into fantasy, because that's where the other licenses do come into play. They're all fantasy. So maybe they can scratch that itch. I don't know. This is something Lego had to sort out for themselves. But overall, I think it's clearly time. Um, at the very least, bring back the battle packs instead of sticking one figure in a collectible figure line and then everyone races to get that one figure. You'd be better served just selling battle packs so people can just buy them by the truckload. Um, also, it'd be really nice if you brought back like it used to be a $6 set, so probably now it'd be a $9 or $10 set, but literally just a knight with the armor, the helmet, the sword, and everything on horseback with a saddle. And that's really all you need in the set. I mean, maybe give them a squire if you're going to charge $10 for it. But yeah, just those. Because people will army build the ever-loving crap out of those. And that's what I don't think Lego, I think they don't get that, I think. I don't know. Maybe they've got internal data that says otherwise. But anyway, that's my spiel here. Also, just want to throw out an apology. I didn't mean to do a video about about these Bricklink sets and give you guys the important dates, which would have been today, of like, hey, if you're going to buy these, buy them today. But the upcoming one, there's one towards the end of the year. I think it's in September, October. That's going to be when the Wolfpack Fortress goes up. That's, in my opinion, going to be the one to jump on. So that's just me. I will try to do a video about that before it comes out. So anyway, that's all I've got. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Is this enough evidence to say that maybe it's time to bring back Castle? Or is this all just a fluke? Or does Lego have the right balance from their perspective and they just don't see a reason to? You know, let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting, the things that help us grow the channel, we always appreciate it. But other than that, just remember, keep those bricks clicking.